members of the extended family of the Han dynasty who served as governors over Yi province for most of their careers. Liu Yan developed the land into an independent power base, but his son Liu Zhang's soft and timid nature and lack of decisiveness led to widespread resentment from the people of Yi. He was benevolent, but unambitious and weak-willed, an ineffective ruler who lacked the authority to sufficiently control his administration. His modesty safeguarded Yi from the outside for only so long. His leniency, on the other hand, led to many internal troubles and disloyalties in his state. Liu Yan was a descendant of the fifth son of Emperor Jing, Prince of Lu from the early days of the Han. Because this branch of the Liu family was powerful, and Liu Yan was a capable statesman, he quickly rose through the ranks in court. The highest post he reached was that of Minister of Ceremonies, usually described as a chief priest in the government. This role usually held responsibilities over the ceremonies in the imperial temples for the emperor, astronomy, astrology, and the daily records of the emperor's activities. This role would also supervise the selection process of the Imperial Academy, examining the students. If they were suitable, it was required to report their eligibility for office to the emperor. After the death of his teacher Shou, however, he resigned his position to observe a mourning period, as per traditions of the day. Emperor Ling's central court became a politically dangerous place, which Liu Yan wanted to distance himself from. Initially, he wanted to be the governor of Jiaoji, but his advisor Dongfu suggested Yi province instead. At that time, those lands were considered a backward and distant province of the Han Empire. Seeing it as a sign of good things to come, he took the advice, and with a private army set off for his new post in 188. His army, named the Dongzhou Military, composed of refugees from Nanyang and regions around Chang'an. He left his sons Liu Fan and Liu Dan at the imperial court, acting as general of the household and as clerk preparer of documents, with Liu Zhang acting as their assistant. When Liu Yan arrived in Yi, he established his capital at Mianzhu. He was quickly confronted with his first crisis: numerous religious sects and powerful families with large private armies. Zhang Lu's Celestial Masters religious group enjoyed its greatest popularity in this backward land, but he was being challenged by another shamanistic religion led by Zhang Xu with no relation. Ma Xiang and Zhao Ji were also causing trouble in the region. Claiming to be a part of the Yellow Turban Rebellion, they raised thousands of troops at Mianzhu in 188, then killed the inspector Shou Jian. Within a couple of weeks, they defeated 3 separate armies before going on to attack Ba and Jianwei commanderies. Their army now consisted of tens of thousands of men, so Ma Xiang soon called himself Son of Heaven, possibly referring to the deceased Zhang Zhua, who called himself Lord of Heaven General. Liu Yan enlisted the help of the powerful local families to raise an army and quell the uprising. Attendant official Jia Long led officers and men to successfully defeat the rebels in only several days. After Ma Xiang was beheaded, the territory of the province was at peace, so Jia Long gathered his troops to greet Liu Yan. Somewhat in control of the region, Liu Yan plotted to gain independence from the central Han government. The religious Zhangs were abruptly ordered to kill the Han-appointed statesman of Hanzhong, Su Gu, and take over his territory. Zhang Lu first killed Zhang Xu, absorbing his armies into his own. Then he managed to kill Su Gu and claim Hanzhong, creating a buffer state between Yi and the central government. Liu Yan's next step to consolidate his power was to rein in the strength of the wealthy local families. He executed the leaders of over 10 families, but the powerful leader Jia Long banded together with others and fought back. Liu Yan's forces eventually prevailed, but the Xiang people soon arrived to further threaten his claim. They attacked Mianzhu, but could not overcome the warriors of Yi, who prevented their land from being ravaged. In 194, after Li Jue and Guosi gained control of Chang'an, Liu Yan joined forces of Han Sui and Ma Teng in an attempt to seize back the capital. Liu Yan's funds helped from inside the city when the armies attacked. They ultimately suffered a major defeat, however, which put them into a hasty retreat, where both Liu Fan and Dan tried to escape, but were captured, tortured, and killed. At the time, Pang Xi was a family friend of Liu Yan serving at Chang'an. He turned to his network of friends for help in secretly escorting the families of the deceased Lius back to Yi. Liu Zhang barely escaped after he was ordered by the imperial court to admonish his father's brutal actions, but upon arriving, Yan refused to let his son go back to the capital. Pang Xi believed that Liu Zhang owed him a huge favour for his actions. That summer, a lightning bolt struck Liu Yan's residence in Mianzhu, burning it to the ground. He relocated his capital to Chengdu, but he became deeply grieved. It's said that the pain caused by the loss of his 2 sons and the stress of the Mianzhu incident caused him to develop an illness on his back which would eventually cause his death later that year. His 4th and youngest son, the incapable Liu Zhang, was now left in charge of Chengdu. Up until now, it was rich and fruitful. Even though the 3rd brother, Liu Mao, was still alive at this time, many gentries of Yi province nominated Liu Zhang due to his timid and kindly nature. Liu Zhang's laws and authority were too feeble to control the clans and officials of Yi, so the local customs quickly became extravagant and wasteful. Those who managed properties dressed in the same clothes as marquis and ate with jade utensils, while some marriage ceremonies and funerals cost enough to ruin an entire family. The Dongzhou military subjugated and bullied the local people, who in turn grew to resent their new governor. They looked to virtuous officials such as Dong He instead, who was especially beloved by the elderly and frail. Xiao Wei used this tyranny to earn the people's trust. He established relations with the eminent families of Jing province, intending to raise arms against Liu Zhang. It wasn't long after the new succession until Gan Ning and his infamous gang rebelled, with support from 2 minor officials. Liu He also provided help from the neighbouring province, but they were all eventually driven out back to Jing. Xiao Wei's rebellion got underway in the year 200, so Liu Zhang fortified himself within Chengdu. Fearing to lose their easily led leader, the Dongzhou military came to Liu Zhang's aid. They pushed Xiao Wei back to Jiangzhou, where he would die soon after. Zhang Lu also did not recognize Liu Zhang as his leader, so refused to follow his orders and rebelled in the same year. Pang Xi was ordered to lead his troops to attack Zhang Lu, but he never managed to make any territorial gains. He remained in Baxi Commandery to guard against possible advances from their rival. As a result, Liu Zhang executed Zhang Lu's mother and younger brother who were at Chengdu, so the pair became enemies from this point on. The corruption within Yi is apparent. Pang Xi grew increasingly arrogant, believing he enabled Liu Zhang's reign. It turns out Liu Zhang actually distrusted him, so began to alienate him. In late 208, news arrived that Cao Cao was attacking Jing. Yin Pu was dispatched as an emissary to pay homage to Cao, where it was suggested that Liu Zhang and Liu Mao would be granted positions of generals. When Zhang Song heard that Cao Cao was marching on Hanzhong, he urged his lord to invite Liu Bei to counter the threat. He warned that Pang Xi might also secretly harbour the intention of overthrowing him. Wang Li, Huang Chuan, Li Hui and others tried to persuade him not to accept, but Liu Zhang heeded Zhang Song's advice and ordered his subordinate Fa Zhang to lead 4,000 men to welcome Liu Bei. It was secretly decided by Zhang Song, Fa Zhang and Meng Da to ultimately make him their new leader, since they considered him more ambitious. After the meeting, Liu Bei was sent to the front to fight against Zhang Lu. When Zhang Su revealed his younger brother's true intentions to Liu Zhang, Zhang Song was put to death. Then the Battle of Liu Bei began as he engaged in his conquest of Yi province. Although generals such as Zhang Ren fought hard to defend their master, Liu Bei's forces had the upper hand, and by 214 they had surrounded Chengdu. An administrator's plan to defect to Liu Bei was discovered, but Liu Zhang already felt he was on the brink of destruction, so he did not punish the culprit. Liu Ba, Dong He and Hu Jing pleaded to their master to resist at all costs, but he rejected their pleas, saying, "I don't want my subjects to suffer anymore." Soon after surrendering his territory, Liu Zhang was sent to the border with Wu at the western part of Jing. After Lu Meng seized Jing province, he was taken in by the Wu forces. Sun Quan quickly looked to make a claim on Liu Bei's lands by appointing Liu Zhang as the governor of Yi province once more, but he died shortly after. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.